again. Please, Facebook, let me stream. Please let me stream. Please, technology. Mercury's not retrograde, is it? I think it just finished. Yes. Okay, it looks like it's working. I'm not going to touch anything. Let's see. Great. Tagging Harun again. Bear with me, guys. I'm just overcoming the techie bit. For some reason, it won't let me broadcast. This is very strange. Okay, this is a shame. Right. No, it's not working. I'm not sure why. Okay, we're going to have to start, I think. Okay, let me try again. Okay, last chance now. Do you know, this is actually the first time. Okay, so you can see me here on Zoom. That's great, because obviously the people are signed up. We really want them to see this. I'm going to try one more time to go live on Facebook. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So then we're just going to carry on with the show, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, one last. Okay, so I need to restart the streaming here, it says. Oh, there we go. Okay, one last chance. I'm so pleased that you are being patient. Okay, so share on my timeline. Please, technology, work, because we are so relying on this, don't we? Okay. Right, let's just try. Okay, it seems to be fine. And bear with me. It's actually the first time this has happened. So it's going to be a first time for everything, isn't it? No, it tells me I can't stream it. For some reason. Right. Not doing it. Okay, we are going to run the show as it is. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm very sorry about that tech. I'm Jenny Lyon. I'm going to bring on a very, very special guest. Now, I started the Ascension live show last year because I had a very, very strong, very strong pull really from the soul, or just kind of feeling completely inclined to do this. So there wasn't really a lot of planning around this. It was more just me going ahead and doing it. And it was very clear on what I wanted to achieve with it, really. I wanted to create an amazing platform where I can bring in some amazing speakers of light and transformation and love and influence, so that more people can learn about this. So as we know, visibility is really, really important for getting your message out there. So if we are not showing up, or we're not showing ourselves, then then no one will know about it. And I know that my very special guest today is an absolute amazing person to getting his message out there. So I feel really privileged to have him here on the show. So that was the prompt, really. I wanted to spread wisdom, spread knowledge, spread love, spread transformation, spread healing, spread love and light, so that more people can get into that path, really, and actually trust that that is the right path for them. So yeah. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to bring on my very special guest in a minute. So we always leave a little bit of time in the end for questions. So feel free to just type them into the Q&As at any time, because I will go back to them in the end. So type the questions in, we will go over the questions and we will answer them accordingly, and it will be awesome. So don't hold back. Harun is here to answer those questions, so take the opportunity. Please take the opportunity. Okay. That's it really. If you want to make notes, please do. It's going to be really action-packed. So yeah, we're going to bring on a very special guest. And let's see here. Somebody's raised a hand. Okay, that's okay. Now, I'm going to find my very special guest and make him a panelist. All right. There we are. Okay. Can I see you? Can I hear you? I think so.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, I can see Harun and I can hear him. Great. Welcome. How is Norway?
Norway, my dear friend, is absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous where I'm sitting, and I can see the view, the mountains and the fjords and everything, you know, in the yonder. And you're from Sweden anyway, aren't you? So you're not originally not too far from here.
No, I mean, it's very similar energy.
Yeah.
In Norway and Sweden. It's very clean. It's a different vibration there, actually. I've only been to Norway a couple of times, but I know it's very similar vibration.
I'm going to move my chair.
Yeah, move your chair. Yeah,
so I can have it totally symmetrical for you. Yeah. There you go. So yeah, I don't want your viewers to be too confused by the asymmetry of this. There you go.
So yeah, so how do you define it? Going from London is such a dense place. I mean, it's eventful, but it's quite dense.
London, in terms of people, absolutely amazing. And we've got such a diverse range of people with diverse energies. However, the energy is very heavy in London.
Yes.
You know, with I don't know, 7 million just inner London, and 12 million is slightly outer London, and 25 million within the M25 region. That's a lot of people. Norway have got just over 5 million people, and they're spread out. So obviously, Oslo isn't where I live, but where I live now, not even 16,000. I think possibly less than 16,000 people, 11,000 officially. So it's clean. The air is clean. Yeah. The roads are quiet. No London Underground. There's mountains, lakes, forests, dream come true, plus my soulmate, obviously the big reason I'm here. So then energetically, it's absolutely transformational just being here.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, no, so you will probably, after a while in living there, then when you come back here, it's like, whoa, because it's such a, it's this beautiful space to be in. I think it's more, in a way, it's healthy for human energy to be in a space, where it's less dense, but we have to, obviously, in London, so much happening. It's like a great space to be for transformation. Okay, great. So, the purpose of the show, I've already shared a little bit about that, but I also would like to know, and I'm sure some of the listeners, or some of them may not actually know you. So what about telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today? Focusing around, obviously, the heart work, because this is what we're talking about today, but just tell us a little bit about your journey.
My journey has been hugely diverse, so we won't even have time to even scratch on the surface.
No.
I will give you the very summarized version, and this is a challenge for me, of course, which is this, that I started off, I was born in Bangladesh. When I was born there, it was called East Pakistan. A couple of decades earlier, it was called India. Came to the UK when I was only 4.5. Birmingham, Sunderland, all over the place, never settled in one place. And this is relevant to the journey. To this conversation, at the age of 12, I started working for my father full-time in a curry house. So during the day, I was at school, and in the evenings, serving customers. I hated it. I absolutely hated what I was doing, because, you're a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, you want to be out with friends. Problem was, I was in an area where I didn't have any friends. It was a lot of violence that went on there back in the early 80s, giving my age away here. A lot of violence, a lot of aggression, we were going through a deep recession within the UK at the time. Mm-hmm. However, those early years had a major impact on what I was going to do. Yeah. I was supposed to be like any good Asian boy. I was supposed to be either an engineer, a lawyer, or a doctor, or an accountant. I was heading down towards a medical route. But then by the time I got to 17, 18, my grandmother died. 18, actually, my grandmother died. She had a tumor. She had it for a throat tumor. But I think about 7 years. And I just was totally disheartened by that whole thing. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do medicine. I just totally didn't want to get involved. Fast forward a few years after my degree, economics degree, what do I end up doing? Selling medical equipment to hospitals, working with surgeons, gastroenterologists, and later on ENT surgeons, saving lives, transforming lives. Mm. What was interesting was throughout this journey, I seemed to achieve top results. I was number one in everything that I touched. However, let me emphasize, this is so important to understand for all of us, that I hated sales. I really did not like selling. I didn't use technique. There was nothing like that. And yet I was number one consistently. Fast forward many, many years, having spent a decade in that industry, getting married, then divorced, I started researching the synergy between science and spirituality. Mm-hmm. What is the wisdom that's coming from thousands of years? Well, where's the truth in it that science can prove? And so I started geeking out from 2006, 2007. I started interviewing some of the world's leading experts, and they've become friends, actually. Some of them have passed away. People like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Dr. David Hawkins, who wrote Power versus Force. They were my teachers. They were my mentors. And some of them I've even worked with, Greg Braden. And really to understand that ultimately, our journey in this human plane is the journey of the heart. You see, the heart is your portal to your soul. Mm. The heart is the portal to multiple dimensions. The heart is the epicenter of your chakra system. Pronounced chakra, by the way, not chakra. But anyway, the chakra system. I'm just saying to I'm talking to everybody who's not Indian. Chakra means wheel. So epicenter of all the other chakras. It's this center.
Yeah.
But as far as the Western world is concerned, conventional medicine, it's a pump, and it pumps blood. That's it. But we know that science has shown that the heart has a brain of its own. My friend Greg Braden, who's written many books, including Divine Matrix. You know, when I read his book, mm-hmm. Divine Matrix, I thought, oh my God, he's talking about the stuff I've been speculating on, and he's showing the science. And he says that heart map, which I'm working with as well, saying that when you got 40,000 neurons, they call it neurites, working together independently of the brain, mm-hmm. it is called a mind. So the heart has a mind of its own. In fact, there's more information going from the heart to the brain than the brain to the heart. So going back to all the selling and everything that I did, how did I become number one? I will tell you, I kid you not, it's nothing to do with technique. It was nothing to do with sales skills. It was nothing to do with luck. It was the connection of the heart. I was presenting myself to people, representing a company, and saying, hey, I'm here to help. How can I serve you? Mm-hmm. And we developed relationships, and in the end, they would turn to me to buy, even though our products were great. I would never sell anything that wasn't good. It was really, really great. Ultimately, it is about the connection of heart. And Professor Konstantin Korotkov, who's developed the technology to measure energy fields, he has shown that when you take two people who are totally in love, you can see the heart, the energy field of the heart transferring from one to the other. And he actually says on a webinar I did with him, he says that when you've got two people who are that much in love, their energy fields start converging and looking like each other's. Have you ever seen that couple, Jenny, who they get married and over years you think they even start looking alike? This is what happens.
Mm.
So we have a lot of light workers in the world. I mean, you and I know each other from that kind of sphere from back in 2011 or 12 when we met. I think it was 11 we met.
Yeah, I think 11.
Yeah. So we have a lot of light workers out here to do good in the world. And it does not literally break my heart, because it can't, but it does sadden me that we have stuff going on like what's happened in Sri Lanka, the explosions, the bombing, and the light workers. We haven't got our act together. And the reason is we are trying to do so much good for others, but we're not using our heart. We're passionate. I'm not saying that. We're courageous. I'm not saying we're not using that. But what we're doing is we are ignoring our deepest fears. We are ignoring our emotional baggage that we're carrying around. Imagine I'm a doctor. I worked with hundreds of doctors over the years in hospitals. Imagine a doctor doing the ward rounds from bed to bed, speaking to the patients, and the doctor coughing and splurting all over the place.
Yeah.
What's he going to do, or what she's going to do? They're going to infect the other people. So it's the same with light workers. We've really got to start looking deep and say, you know what? I have a gift. I have a passion. I'm here. I have a duty to the world and to myself, which is to, first of all, share my gift to the world. But before I share it, I've got to polish it up. In other words, get rid of my emotional baggage. Anyway, that's my start to life. Did that answer your first question?
Harun, we share exactly the same, I share exactly the same vision really with you, because unless we raise our own vibration, how can we affect others in a positive way? Because we can only go as far with our clients or the people we are leading through transformation or inspiring or influencing or whatever, as we have come. So, somebody's got to take the lead. People's got to, light workers got to do this, because they come in here. Now it's critical that we step up. And
the dominant vibration that we hold, we have many different emotions which have an impact on our vibration. It's not just our emotions, of course. There's our values and our voids. All of these coalesce to create some kind of dominant vibration around us. Now, here's what I say to everybody watching, everybody listening. Look around you. Look at your state of your being. And I'm not, there's no judgment in this.
No.
Look around you and say, okay, is what I have in my life something I am happy with? If you're happy and you're satisfied, there's nothing to do, you're cool. But if what you're surrounded by, anger, bitterness, resentment, day to day, I'm not talking about working with clients, I'm talking about just generally, poverty, indebtedness. If you're surrounded by all of this, then your dominant vibration is keeping it in place.
Yes.
Stuff happens in life. The wind will blow a whole, tumbleweed in your direction. But guess what? If your dominant vibration is higher, then it will just go by, because there's no resonance. There's no anchor point. It can't connect to you. No. And so if we're attracting stuff we really do not like, it's because it's locking in. It is our vibration. It's nobody else. It's our vibration.
Well, it's the law of attraction working absolutely great. It is, because there's an inner game, right? So inside, what happens inside of us, or in about all parts of our energy being, I suppose, is exactly what's going to happen on the outside.
We live in a world of illusion, Jenny.
Yes.
Everything we're surrounded by. So I look outside the window and I see these mountains and forests and all waters, etc. Everything that I'm seeing, it is purely a reflection of my inner empire. Everything, including you, including my partner, it's a reflection of my inner empire. Yes. So if the outer empire is not looking good, then I need to address this first. It's beyond the law of attraction. It's way, way beyond the law of attraction. Sure, it's beyond that. We have to go inside and say, okay, what's going on? So, for example, the whole Sri Lanka thing, I'll bring it up again. I'm not taking responsibility. It's my fault. I'm not blaming myself, but I am also fully aware that as part of my inner empire, there's something I need to tweak to shift the illusion out there, whatever that illusion is. Now, my illusion, one person's illusion is somebody else's reality. So it's all about looking at the illusion and say, okay, here, everything's an illusion, right? Am I at this level of illusion? So what you've got to do is transcend it to the next level, and then the next level, because the universe will constantly give you illusion until you go, oh God, I don't need to be in this body. Hey, call me Buddha if you like, and you ascend. So in other words, this is the whole thing. The whole life journey is a process, one long-winded process of transformation to the next level. It spirals, goes higher and higher. And if your name is not Buddha or Jesus Christ or any of these great avatars, then you got work to do. I've got work to do as well.
Yeah, we all got work to do. Well, it's never, I mean, look, I don't look at this as finished. I get sometimes questions by clients say, okay, so am I done now? I'm like, not really. It'll get easier. We'll get more fun. Because the first bit, you know, the first few years when you're trying to get through all the slog of where if you haven't been in transformational space before, you know, you might want to get going. But then it gets easier. And it gets, joyful and fun. You know, we're creating more consciously exactly what we would like to see. And as you're talking about the outer and the inner empire, absolutely. So I have some questions for you, of course.
Good. I'm glad we got the early part out of the way. Now you can ask questions.
Yes, yeah. No, we've got to put it straight. Yeah. So let me just see here. So I like this one. So your passion, well, one of your passions is to work and to heal the heart. Now, I am really into entrepreneurship and bringing your gifts to the world and actually making a living of it, because as soon as you start living your purpose through, it's like the ikigai, the Japanese saying about a full balanced life. But as soon as you bring your purpose alive, if you like, and start making a business out of it, then you're really, you're really on a good way there. So I just wanted to maybe talk to us a little bit about how we can use our heart in business, because this is so important. Yes. So tell us what your.
Okay, so I've been in business since the age of 12, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
And it was full time. And the stuff that I learned in working in a takeaway that I hated to work in was actually very useful for saving many lives later on, selling medical equipment. You develop this entrepreneurial mindset. It's not about salesmanship, although we all ought to have some kind of selling skills.
Yes.
Heart, bringing the heart into it. So I keep getting message left, right, and center. Bringing the heart into the work that you do means something very simple. It doesn't mean you need to know your life purpose in that moment in time, because your purpose evolves as you evolve.
Yes.
What my purpose was 20 years ago is not what my purpose is now. For some people, it may be the case. So when I was selling medical equipment, I had very simple purpose: saving lives. That's not what my company told me. In my distorted mind, I thought, I'm saving lives. Now, here's what happens, Jenny, when you're saving lives. I'll give you a couple of examples. First of all, the products we sold were premium quality products. One occasion, I had a consultant surgeon, Mr. Charnley, great guy in one of the hospitals in Newcastle upon Tyne. He looked up the kit I was selling. It's a disposable piece of kit, and it was £99. And he then looked at it and says, Harun, I like the kit, but it's too expensive. I looked at him. Here's what I said, because I know what it does. I looked at him and I said, really? He said, it's expensive. I said, really? And I stayed quiet. He said, well, the one that we use is £50 from your competitors. I stayed quiet. This one's been developed by Dr. Derek Martin. This is a real name. One of the most eminent physicians in that field. One of the top 5 in the world. It's It's been developed by that. It's got this safety insulation there, which means it'll save me this time. And he started talking about all the good qualities of my product. And I stayed quiet. And he said, okay, you know what? We'll get it. They used to order, that hospital used to order about £2,000-3,000 a year. From there and then, they started ordering £25,000 worth of orders. So where's the heart come into it? The heart comes into it not because it was a silencing technique, but the heart comes into it is like, for me, I'm saving lives with this piece of kit. Actually, way better than my competitor was. And it wasn't about competition. To me, it was like, there is no competition. And when you bring your heart into it, and somebody this guy's a very eminent surgeon, very highly respected, you don't mess about. And when you do that, you're not phased. You know, people are afraid of being rejected. So that's one. I'll give you a different example, different hospital, Stockport in Cheshire, and I won't mention the guy's name. He is also a very eminent surgeon. And he started using my equipment, and the patient started bleeding profusely. And he was swearing his head off during the procedure. And he was saying, we're never going to let Olympus come in here. And we're never going to. And so there's about 7 or 8 other nurses and radiography staff. And one of the nurses came up to me and says, Harun, he's being I think you better leave. I looked at her and says, no, I'm not going to be bullied. He wasn't bullying me, but he's swearing. I'm not going to be bullied out. I'd like to talk to him afterwards. Let's see what he says. And so he was having a hissy fit. After the procedure was over, he came up to me and he said, listen, I'm sorry for shouting. It's not at you. It's not at the kit. It's this other kit we need to change. It's from your company. It's not your company's fault. It's these. And he started swearing about the business department of the NHS. It's these guys' fault, blah, blah, blah. These guys ended up spending, I think, 10, 15,000. What got me there, what kept me in there was very simple. My heart will not allow me, because I'm there to save lives. Somebody trying to be bully or aggressive isn't going to cut the mustard with me, isn't going to work with me. So if you're an entrepreneur, a therapist, a light worker, any business owner of any sort, this is an important thing. Your purpose, if you're operating from your heart, then your purpose is going to be so high that nothing's going to faze you. That's the first thing. Here's the second thing. You know what I said about Professor Konstantin Krokov? He said when you bring 2 people in love, you can see the energy transfer from the one heart to the other. He's measured it. When you and I we're in resonance. We've known each other. Now, you've got your husband, I've got my partner. Yet we have a love between us. It's not a romantic love. There's a loving energy. There's a connection. There's a resonance, and there's alignment, and there's coherence. Here's what happens when you operate from your heart. First of all, you start treating your employees. You treat your team, your colleague, from a space of kindness and compassion, from a place of self-awareness. So you're realizing that, hold on, if I'm spewing out my volatile temper, it's my stuff, not hers, not his. So what happens is you start gelling your team together. I have a tribe called the Living from the Heart tribe. I've never, ever seen such loyalty and customer support with each other. I'm hands off. Simply because I operate from the principles of operating from the heart. So one of them is on the call, Diane, because she said hi on the chat. So when you align the hearts with each other, when you operate from that space, you create such devotion. You create a tribe. This is what it's all about. People are so disconnected in their family environment. So if you're an entrepreneur, you can create that family environment. It doesn't mean you have to mollycoddle each other. No. It's about creating the space for people to operate from their highest level of service. It's to hold the space when someone's having a bad hair day, not to judge, take a step back and say, okay, I'm going to stay silent and just hold this space. And they will be self-aware enough and say, hey, listen, like one of my customers did, hey, listen, it's not your fault. Stuff's happening in my life. I'm projecting out to you. And they end up giving you more loyalty. I mean, I can go on and on, but I won't.
Of course, yeah. No, I mean, it's really interesting because, personally, I have a few different fams, you know, not different as in separated, but in the sense where there's always space for elevating each other, you know. And this is what I talk in my lives about as well, saying, look, if you want to better the world, you want to hang out with your soulmate, you know, with your soul family. Not meaning dismissing everyone else in your life, but, you know, this is the quality time. This is how you elevate your energy and create amazing things together, because the energy starts spinning, right?
Absolutely. And you know, one of the things which we haven't touched upon, which is important to understand, is, so I got divorced, and I'll use my own story to explain it. I got divorced in 2002, and it broke my heart. Absolutely devastated. More so because my young baby sons, who were only nearly 3 and nearly 1 years old, they were, you know, we weren't there for each other. Like, I couldn't be there for them 7 days a week. And so they were with me 65-70% of the time, especially in the first 7 or 8 years. Here's what happened there when I was away from them. I sent my energy to them from my own heart. And as a result of continuously doing that, even if we don't see each other for a long time, the connection is super strong. If I wasn't me and I looked at me as a dad, I'd be jealous, because I'd be going, oh my God, how the heck do these guys have such a wonderful relationship? And we do that because, again, it's operating from this space of kindness, compassion, caring, but it must start with oneself. And you can apply it to 7 areas of life, which you're going to ask about, but I'll ask to mention it. 7 areas. You can apply it to your family, your significant relationships. So a lot of people think they're falling in love with their soulmate, but they're not they're not in love with their heart. They're in love with the idea of being in love. So you're not really loving from your heart or living from your heart. You're loving from your head, which isn't quite the same. So your significant relationships change. Your connection to your brain, your connection to your intellect, your mind, your creativity, your genius, that shifts. That's your second area, not in any particular priority. The other area is when you're living from your heart, you're healthy. You have more longevity. You have more zest in your life, more vitality. You have a transformational effect on your career, your vocation, whether you're working for somebody or working for yourself. You have a relationship with money. A lot of people in the light working area have a terrible relationship with money. Oh no, I don't want anything to do with money. Oh no, I don't want to do anything with sales. Really? I thought money was just energy. And if you're a believer in God, and you are one with God, isn't money from God?
Yes.
Isn't that one thing? So that's the next relationship. You've also got a relationship with society, the community, your contribution beyond your career, beyond your personal agenda. So that's the 6th relationship. And the 7th one is your relationship with spirit, divinity. Now, spirit can be many things to many people. It could be a God. It could be the mountains, the trees, the lakes, the rivers. Could be anything. But we all need some level of spiritual practice. It doesn't have to be going to the mosque or the temple or a Gurdwara. It can be going into nature. Those 7 areas, here's what happens when you ignore one of them. If you ignore one of them, people talk about work-life balance, which I think, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say is a load of crock. It's not a swear word, Julie.
Well, it's just 2 things. It's work and life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a work and life.
Exactly. Well, so you got work on one side and then 6 areas of your life. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's about harmony. It is about balance between them all.
Yes, it's about balance.
But you can't balance all of them one day. I mean, today I can't be, say, for example, spending time with my sons because A, I'm in Norway, and B, I'm doing this work here with you. So other times, it'll be just pure family time. It's about harmony. So when you neglect one area of this life, here's what happens. You start eroding away your self-esteem. This is so important, so important to really get a grasp of. You start eroding your own self-esteem in that area. And here's what happens when you do that. The universe will send you people, places, predicaments to tickle you with a feather and say, hey, wake up. It'll throw a rock at you if you ignore that. Mountain will come crashing down on you when you ignore that. Yeah. So what you would do is you will hesitate, procrastinate, deliberate, not want to talk about the very thing you need to be talking about. So you will feel like people are being aggressive, they're being bullies. So when you have one area of life, Jenny, that you're ignoring, you can work through it with a bit of guidance and support and a bit of self-awareness. When you have two areas, so let's just say you think, oh my God, I'm so dumb, I don't know anything. This is language people use. When you got two areas, oh, I got a really crappy job, I hate my job, I don't like doing this job, I'm doing it because it earns me some money. So what happens is this, you start suffering from stress and anxiety. When you start getting three areas of low self-esteem, you start falling into depression territory. I kid you not, when you have 4, 5 areas, you start entering into homelessness territory. I've seen it happen again and again. We cannot ignore the 7 core areas of our life. We've got to constantly pay attention to them.
Tell me them again. So money, and then it's the...
Okay, so your 7 areas of life are your relation. It's all relationships, by the way.
Yeah, of course,
Your,
yes.
Your relationship with money.
Yeah.
Your relationship with your mind, your genius, your creativity, etc. Your significant relationships, the most important ones, mummy, daddy, children, siblings, soulmate.
So like close family.
Close family.
Yeah.
Your relationship with your career, your vocation. We have an innate need to create stuff, to be productive.
Yes.
Your relationship, I didn't mention this one, the relationship with your physical and nutritional health.
Yes. So your body.
Yeah, your body. Your relationship with society or your community. So that means making a difference. In what way are you making a difference? And it doesn't mean putting money to charity. It means actual contribution to society. And then your relationship with spirit, with divine. Now, Jenny, I want to pretend you're single for a moment. Okay. I know you got a lovely family. Just pretend. Imagine, right, I was to introduce you to a guy who's spiritual, very clever guy, earns a lot of money, great career, is, let's just say 6 areas of life, tick, 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 top, right? But he has investment in McDonald's and Greg's Bakery. And so how he props up the shares is he goes and eats there a lot. So in other words, he's like grossly obese, hates exercise, doesn't do anything. I'm sorry, but this is reality. How attractive would he be to you?
What, scale 1 to 10?
Yeah. So
like 0?
0. Okay. So okay, let's assume
I'm really tough.
No. Well, this is human. This is reality. Now let's assume that he is healthy. He's kind. He's compassionate. He's earning good money. He's good looking. All the good stuff. However, he hates giving money to charity. He hates contributing to homeless. He poo-poos that. Look, they, why are they homeless? They don't live in the third world. How attractive would that guy be to you?
It's not as bad as
as bad.
No, it's not as bad because, but it's bad.
It's bad. So my point is this, that if those people with one area of life, and I can go through all of them, by the way, I won't, we haven't got time for that. If one area of life, you look at it and go, ugh, imagine if they've got 2 or 3 areas of life. It's not a matter of, it's like, my God, I don't resonate with that person.
No.
Now, let's flip the coin. What if, and I'm not saying this is you, what if, so how about you? How high is your self-worth in those 7 areas of life? How high is it? Because here's what happens. Your net, as Dr. John D. Martini says, your net worth is directly correlated to your self-worth. So, for example, if I had low self-worth, how will I ever value you? I can't. If on the other hand, if I've got high self-worth, then A, I value me. B, I value the work that I do. And C, I will attract people, places, predicaments who also value me.
Yes.
So it's not just a straightforward law of attraction, let me think it and it becomes a no. This is about the law of action. It's about taking action to create traction to then ultimately experience attraction.
Exactly. I mean, when I said law of attraction earlier, it's like, what I mean is that it's something is magnetizing to it.
Absolutely.
Because it's energy. and the vibrations that are matching will, they will magnetize towards each other.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly. So no, this is really interesting. I mean, I love this. I'm going to do a checklist for myself here and see how, check in with each one. And I feel pretty good actually looking at them already, but that doesn't mean we, don't have to tweak things. So thank you for that.
Well, what I would suggest to, all your viewers and listeners is this. If you've got two areas that are low, meaning on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, 1 being low, if you've got 2-3 areas on a scoring 1 to 3 for say 2 or 3 areas, get help.
Yes.
If you've got 4 areas, oh my God, give me a call, give Jenny a call, give somebody a call who actually is a professional in this particular field.
Yes.
Okay, get help, because the trajectory is not good.
No.
We are not meant to be isolated loners. Those people who are committing atrocities, those people who are committing suicide. So one lot are committing atrocities to other humans, and another lot committing atrocity to themselves. They've become loners because they've ignored and they've depleted and they've eroded their self-worth. Not anybody's fault. Not anybody's fault.
No.
Just no. So please get help. Yes,
no, absolutely. I mean, I always say, don't try to make it all on your own. I mean, the investment in your own transformation is the best investment you will ever make.
Absolutely.
Because if you're here to make a change in the world yourself, it's only going to be a reflection of how much worth, like you said, your net worth, your inner worth. And that's always going to be the case. So absolutely. Great. I like that. I've written that down as the student of life that I am. Lovely. Now, I wanted, actually, this wasn't on my list today, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the soulmate and the heart connection that you were talking about earlier, where two people, I totally get that, how two people start looking at each other, because I've seen it.
Yeah.
They look like each other, they walk like each other. It's like they're taking on each other's imprints.
Yes.
I've seen this, so I totally agree. Just from a science and also from an energy perspective, just tell me a little bit, because I kind of like the idea.
Okay. So you've got a number of things operating at the same time. First of all, like attracts like. Secondly, opposites also attracts.
Yes.
So we have an energy matrix. You have an energy signature around you, which makes you the kind of person that you are. So a good friend of mine, Nick Haynes, who'll be speaking at my gathering in May, he talks about these energy profiles. And this energy profile will determine how you think and how you act on the world. So, for example, I'm somebody who's a communicator. I'm very much about the people, but I'm also someone who's got wood energy in Chinese philosophy, which is all about creative. So I'm super creative. I'm also super human connector. So I can network and connect. And it's not about sales. It's not about having the gift of the gab whatsoever. So on one level, so I can talk about my soulmate here. She is very opposite to me. Now, she's very grounded earth energy, excellent with detail. Excellent, brilliant at spending time alone. I'm very much about being with people. She is very much about, she likes her own solitary company and with me as well. So in many respects, we're opposites. But can you see how the universe balances you both out? That's on the one hand. Now, and I won't go into the science of it because it's quite deep.
Yeah.
Because there's a heck of a lot of science before.
That's not a show.
Yeah. So that is a 3-hour webinar in its own right. I actually do 3-hour webinars on specifically about attracting soulmates. So another level is the values. What values? What are your core driving values? So everybody has several hundred values. According to Dr. John D. Martini, he talks about that, the hierarchy of values. Yeah. However, there's another set of values, 5 core, which drive you in becoming who you are. So for me, for example, my number one value is making a difference, making a significant contribution in anything that I do, my son's lives, the life of my partner, the life of the people around me. Number 2 is for me is live my truth, speak my truth, meaning authenticity. Number 3, always working from compassion. Number 4, freedom. All that I do is about helping people become free. And number 5 is about groundedness, doing it in a way not to get all airy fairy and caught up with the la la la, you know, and unicorns, but actually grounding it. Now, these 5 driving factors, here's what happens. If you have a soulmate and you've got a soulmate, you know your key driving values for your husband, here's how to keep him happy. And vice versa, by the way. If his number 1 was being significant, and I know that's more you than him because he's more quieter than you. If his was, let's just say, let's swap it around. Imagine you've got my values. So if he's to keep you happy, here's what he does. When he has conversations, he'll say something like, Jenny, so how did your conversation go with Harun? And how did the audience take? And did they really like it? Did you get more sign-ups? And how do you think it benefited people? You'll go, well, it helped people. This is going to tick your boxes like crazy. Then the next value and next value. So in other words, what happens is you are giving back the very thing the person needs to hear. You see, people, we all want to be loved and appreciated for who we are. The values are who we are.
Yes.
So the science behind it is saying that this is who I am. Now appreciate it by allowing me to be this. Now here's the opposite end of the stick. Let's say you love your interviews, you love making a significant difference. What would happen if your husband says, you know what, just look after the kids. I mean, people don't need to hear about it. I'm earning plenty of money. You can just stay home and cook and clean. How would that be for you, Jenny?
Oh, that wouldn't be.
That wouldn't be. That would create conflict. Here's what it would do. It would create toxicity. It will create toxicity in your relationship. And ultimately, your relationship will start spiraling downwards.
Yes.
If it goes. So when people come to me, especially couples, that's one of the things I address. So in terms of if you are single, here's how you attract your soulmate. Number 1, know who you are and what you stand for, your values. Number 2, live those values. Big difference between knowing them and living them.
Well, walking the talk, right?
Walking the talk. If you say, oh yeah, it's so important that I've got to be authentic, guess what? If you're pretending that you're something that you're not, then you're not living your values. How the heck can you expect somebody else to honor your values if you don't honor your values? Yeah, so as soon as you're on, my partner knows what I stand for. Sometimes she laughs about it and other times she supports it. All the time she supports it. She knows that. I also know what's her values. It's very easy to, be loving, loving relationship. Very simple. You know their values. Make sure you're supporting it. End of. Yeah. And then when your partner is moving away from their values, you gently bring them back and say, hey, like a kite, bring them back, reel them back and say, let's get you back to who you really are, because you said you're this. Let's do it.
I did that the other day.
Yeah.
And we do that to each other because you not rein each other in, but kind of bring, here's a reminder. This is what you just told me not long ago. Now it doesn't seem to be going this way. So tell me what we're going to do about it, because you're not being authentic to yourself. I know you.
Correct.
So this is what we do. This is really great. I mean, I have a really communicative and very sort of, a very down to earth and can be very specific in communication about everything. Yes. And I think that saves everything, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You mentioned communication, and I'll mention one other thing. So in 2015, I interviewed 22 soulmate relationship experts because I wanted to become here's what I do. If I want to learn something for myself, I go and interview the world's experts. I find the best in the world. So I interviewed out of 22, I reckon about 15 of them were world experts. Have you heard of Dr. John Gray, who wrote Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus? Ariel Ford, The Soulmate Secret, and a whole bunch of others. Marianne Williamson, have you heard of her? Yes. She's wants to be president of the US. So all of these people I interviewed, and one of them that they all turn to is Dr. Pat Allen. And she said, you need 3 things in relationships. And this, I believe, stands for not just soulmate relationship, but also relationship with others. But within the soulmate relationship, 3 things. You need chemistry. If you don't have those pheromonal connection and interaction
It's
ain't
never
gonna
going to be
happen.
there.
It's
If it's
never
not
gonna
there,
happen. You can't make it. You can't fake it till you make it. That doesn't work.
fabricate it.
Yep. Number two, you need compatibility. So if I'm single and I approach somebody who's in a happily married relationship, it's incompatible. If I'm a strict religious Hindu and somebody's a strict religious Muslim, they're kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. If I'm highly spiritual and somebody is a devout atheist, which is also religious,
Yes.
it's incompatible. So it's got to be compatible. And number three, and actually our relationship, I'll say it, we started something going, me and my partner, last year, but I made the error of saying, you know what, I'll never move to Norway. And that just like stemmed everything quite quickly. And then I realized, no, I can't live without her. You know, she's and she felt the same. And here I am in Norway. So the third thing is, of course, the compatibility, geographical compatibility. Third thing is communication.
Yes.
When communication breaks down, in other words, transparency goes out the window, discussions, conversations go out the window, what happens is you lose trust.
Yes.
What happens if you got a phone and you connect it to your computer? What does it say on your phone? It says, do you trust this computer?
Yes.
And then the phone will engage with the computer. Guess what? We're human beings. If we don't have trust, we don't have engagement. So if you're an entrepreneur, number one thing is you have to build up the trust. It's when you build up the trust, your client, your customer will start engaging and start buying stuff from you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, fantastic. So Harun, we're coming a little bit to the end. Okay. So I'm thinking a few questions, if there are any, right, by people. Feel free to ask Harun actually anything around what you know him for, and if you don't know so much yet about him, anything to do with the heart or working with the heart. Actually, can you talk to me about, or talk to us about the next event?
Okay.
I know you're doing a human heart gathering.
Correct.
Yes. Tell us about that, because that's really cool. I just checked out the website as well.
Okay, thank you.
It's really cool. Yeah, yeah.
So let's reverse engineer this.
Yes, reverse engineer it.
Right now, you've seen what happened in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And by the way, if we can have maybe 1 minute afterwards, as in before we end the call, short meditation.
Yes.
90-second short meditation.
Yes.
So to send healing to Sri Lanka, basically, I'd be really grateful, you know, since we've got a small captive audience. So if you look at Sri Lanka, the people who created that atrocity are people operating from fear, from disconnection. Remember what I said about, you know, loners and so on, the atrocities. They're operating from that. They're operating from fear-based reptilian brain mechanism. Forget religions. Religion, Islam and whatever is supposed to be, doesn't say go and kill people, right? All the religions avatars taught about the heart. Now,
and kindness.
And kindness, absolutely. Well, kindness comes from heart. Compassion comes from the heart. Courage comes from the heart. So what I'm doing is building a community of people who are uniting together. Remember what I said about Korotkov, Professor Korotkov? He says, when two lovers come together, this is what happens. We're creating a community worldwide, starting off with UK and Europe, and America actually, creating a community where we unite our hearts and send energy, send healing, send transformational messages to people of Sri Lanka before these atrocities happen. It's possible. It's possible to prevent these things. So the point of the Human Heart Gathering, which is a 3-day event, plus a bonus for the day if anyone wants to come to that, which is this. We are going to get people to go experience altered states of consciousness, removing illusion after illusion through meditation, through singing, through movement work. You're going to hear from Professor Konstantin Korotkov. You're going to hear from Bruce Cryer, former CEO of HeartMath International. And what they're going to do is, all of us, including me, is take everybody through a journey of their heart from here to here, and then to integrate the two, and then to connect with everybody within the group. And then we're going to send healing to Sri Lanka. I know it's a month away. We'll send it anyway. So the point of it is this, that people walk away as part of a community, as part of a family, where they feel like you don't have to do things alone anymore. You don't have to try to fix the world on your own, but it's all about creating a tribe. So I'm creating something called the Living from the Heart Tribe, which is very simple. We live from the heart. We support each other. We collaborate with each other. We bring in speakers. We bring in experts to help us to become a better version of us. That's it. So if you want to be part of that, drop me a line.
Yeah, great. Yes, I will drop the, actually I'm going to drop it here in the chat box, because now what I'm going to do, Harun, and before we say goodbye as well, I'm going to share this on Facebook, because this is what I normally do and people like it. So there might be some disappointed people there at the moment that didn't be able to watch it, but they will just an hour later instead. But I'm going to, okay, yeah, so I've just put in the link there for your human gathering.
Human heart gathering, yes.
Yes, it took me to the visioneering lead pages.
That's correct, yeah.
That's right. So I put that in there, and I've also put in just a link from, people can always get a little freebie from me, my morning practice list for spiritual alignment, which I always give people if they would like that. So any questions now? I can't see anything at the moment in the chat box. There's nothing in the chat. Any Q&As? Sorry about that. That was my computer. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any questions. So that's okay. That means that everyone has fully understood and absorbed the transmission.
Perfect.
Which is great. All right. So hello, Harun. I hope that you will have a wonderful time on this gathering. I'm actually going to look into going myself, actually. It's in
good.
The date?
24th, 25th, and 26th. Can we take 1 minute out?
Yes,
just
we're going to do the meditation.
Yeah. Before we go off, I think. Loved it. Thank you, says Nikki.
Ah, great. Yeah.
Thank you, Nikki.
Yes. So let's do this, everyone, before we turn this off.
Brilliant. Okay. So if I can, unless you suffer from epilepsy, if I can get you to just close your eyes, sit up straight, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold for a moment, and slowly breathe out. Let it all go very slowly. Allow it to go slowly, slowly, slowly. And again, take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment. And slowly, slowly let it go. Let it go. Now go back to normal, slowed breathing. What I ask you to do is put your left hand over your heart. What that does is it has a calming effect on your heart. It brings you into your heart and feel the connection between your hand and your chest. And just as you're breathing, you're lifting your chest up and you're lifting your hand up as well. So breathe slowly. And in your mind's eye, in your head, just say to yourself, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Love you, I love you, I love you.
Correct. Just hold that space of love. And now visualize this energy from your heart is encapsulating the whole of the country of Sri Lanka. As they go through their dark hour, you are shining the light of your heart onto that whole nation and anybody related to anybody present. They don't necessarily have to be Sri Lankans. There's family members all over the world being affected, leaders. Visualize your light. It's like the sun just pouring over Sri Lanka, and every single drop of light is also sending waves of light to every single human on the planet who has been negatively affected by this incident. Now, let's send light out to all the people who are living in a state of fear and anger and resentment, and send light to their heart coming from Sri Lanka so that they can feel what's going on in Sri Lanka. And let them, every single person, whatever group they belong to, allow them to feel light in their hearts, opening up their heart, bringing them, helping them to drop from their head, drop from fear, straight into lovingness, kindness, compassion, forgiveness of oneself and others. So as you're going through this process, you will feel the healing effect of what's going on yourself. For when we send light out to the world, you will be the first one to feel it. Hold this space for the rest of today. And as you sleep through the night, so that when you wake up in the morning, that you will still feel the repercussions of this healing light. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And breathe out rapidly. And again, take another deep breath. And a strong out breath. And one more time for now. Take a deep breath in. And an out breath. And just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. You can take your hand away from your chest. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Hold that space. There's nothing to do. You can do whatever you need to do in the space of inner peace, grace, and gratitude. And while this is happening over the next 24 hours, 7 days, 10 days, you're going to feel a healing effect on your entire inner empire that can shift, hopefully, quite dramatically over the next 7 to 10 days. That's it.
Thank you so much. That was really strong, Harun. I could feel, because obviously I'm an empath, I can feel everything, but I could really feel the energy spinning actually around me like this as well. And this warmth just like this around the heart. And I've had a bit of tension on top of my head today. I was checking in my crown chakra today. Got to do something now, but actually that eased off as well.
Yeah.
So that was great. Not something I was worried about, but kind of, there was a little tension earlier today.
When you and I had met, I don't know, all those years ago, 7, 8 years ago, I did not know that I was descended from 600 years of Sufi masters and healers.
I know.
And so as I worked through myself, it's had a major, profound effect on me. And obviously I've been healing people for many years, or helping them heal, I should say. So what you've felt is not just what I've said, it's a lot of lineage affecting you and is activating your guides, your healers, your angels.
Yes. No, it's very powerful. And also what I've noticed, I know we need to finish, but I need to say this. I've also noticed as the vibration is, raised of the earth and everyone is going through a shift, etc., also the healing becomes very, very powerful. I've done, it's 10 years now with divine healing and the light body activations. And I can tell you now, Harun, that the amount of time I need to spend on something now is like halved because it's so powerful and transmission. And it's just that cleans it out. It's like, and I love that because I'm kind of an efficient girl. So
good.
So I kind of like the idea of just kind of let's get it done,
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's nice to be able to, move gracefully, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really loved that. And actually, I'm going to, when I share it, I'm going to say, enjoy the heart meditation in the end, because I think people would really love that. And unless they watch it to the end, they wouldn't know.
Correct.
So All right. So thank you. Thank you. And
You're welcome.
I'll catch you soon, Harun.
Yes.
And thank you everyone for attending. Really great to have you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.